Hello everybody and welcome to my little tutorial on how to create vertical takeoff craft for Kerbal Space Program. So I'm just going to go into the hangar and build a very basic craft. I'm going to use the cupola from the base creation system and just going to add an engine, some landing gear and some wheels. That way I can roll around wherever I go. Right, if you just use Alt after retracting the landing gear, if you use Alt and just click on a piece, anything that's attached to it will also be copied. Just attach that to the other side. And I'm going to add a fuel tank. There are a couple of fuel tanks, but I'm going to go for the little one. And I'm going to go into the utilities, or just make a quick copy of that. Just makes it easier to attach afterwards. So I'm going to attach a habitat module and grab the copied items, do a quick switch around of the tank and the engine. And there we have a very basic craft that's perfect for landing on planets. I'll just deploy that for fun. Now, it looks great, but there's a small problem. It's got all of the mass towards the front. So if you have a look, I've put on the mass center of gravity detector and the thrust detector. And that shows that the thrust does not align with the mass. So if I was to launch this baby, it would drop forwards at the front. So I'm just going to add a couple of a reaction wheel and a battery, and finally go into the engines, and I'm going to add a swivel engine. Now, the thrust indicator you'll see has gone at an angle at the back now. That's because it's pushing up and pushing forwards as far as that's concerned. We need to sort the centre of gravity, so I'm going to reduce the thrust limiter. Now you'll see it's pretty much level. That's because there's mass at the back now. So the centre of gravity is almost perfectly aligned with the thrust down. But it's not quite. So if you adjust the engine, there we go, at the front, it moves the thrust point. So I've got that set fine. Just reset the swivel engine so that the thrust limiter is at 100%. Going to move around the stages on the engines, and there we have a very basic landing craft with a habitat module. Now there's something wrong with my actions at the moment. Anyone who knows what actions are, that means I can't assign action keys. I need to figure out what's going on there. Anyway, here we are on the runway. I'm going to set my RCS and SAS on. Just deploy my landing gear. Oh, brakes. Good idea. Right, now that should be pretty much set. Now what I've done is I've hacked the gravity using Control Alt F12 to mimic moon gravity, or the Mun. So it should give me an idea as to how well it will behave. And there we see with the thrust up to 1/3, you'll see it's lifting off fine. It's pretty much completely vertical. That's because the centre of gravity and the thrust for the downward engines are perfectly aligned. Now with all of the engines on, it's going to stay fairly level whilst it thrusts forwards. I don't want that swivel engine on because I need to land it now. Speed is increasing downwards, so I need to just put a bit of thrust on. Now it's pulling forwards too much, so I'll just tilt it back a little bit. Just like a helicopter, really. Same principle. Just land this baby nice and softly. Pitch forward a bit, going back. There we go. That's pretty much it. And she's down. So I hope this helped. So use the centre of gravity indicator or mass indicator and the thrust indicator and you'll be fine.